Welcome to the Squadcast. My name is Ed Rodriguez. We are back for another our monthly, quarterly episode of the Squadcast. Now, I guess is what it is. But of course, I'm joined by my best friend, your favorite host of the show, Chris Zero Cool Tucker. What is happening, sir?
You still think I'm people's favorite?
The favorite. Oh, you're my favorite.
Really? Oh, well, you're my favorite, sir. I was getting ready to say I'm your favorite.
Ben's a close third.
Yeah, I texted that guy. I was like, hey, we're recording tonight. What's up? Much love to Benny, my man's. I miss you, sir. Yeah, man. How you doing? I'm good. I'm all right.
I'm gonna bust a Chris Tucker line. I'm tired.
Oh, I bet you are, sir.
Yeah, man. We are into week 3 of newborn. Newborn baby watch.
Hey.
It's been pretty crazy. Yeah, it's been nice. It's been lovely. It's been good to be able to be here for, I'm taking a month off. They like to call it, it's not
paternity.
No, it's baby bonding time is what they call it.
Okay.
Yeah. So whatever. But I don't have to go back till the second week of February, so that's kind of nice to get
that shit is gonna fucking suck.
Yeah.
That shit sucks, man.
I'm already doing the pessimistic thing of like, oh, I only got 3 more weeks.
Try not to think about it.
Yeah. But no, it's been great. She's good, healthy, mom's healthy. So
hey,
it's nothing, that's no more than I can ask for. So everyone's good. Getting some sleep at night, but she's actually pretty good. She's actually pretty good at night.
She doing 2 hours, 3 hours at night yet, or?
So we at first we were doing like we were gonna wake her up regardless of if it was
Don't fucking ever wake them up. What are you talking about?
See, that's what we were told, and they were told, oh yeah, you want to feed her every 2-3 hours. Like, okay,
fuck that.
And then this last like 4 or 5 days, this last like 2-3 days, we're like, dude, let's just let her sleep. Like, why would we want to wake her up during her sleep?
Who told you to wake him up?
So that's when, come on, those damn doctors, what do they know?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. You know what they do? They tell you, like, yeah, you got to wake him up and shit. And then they go home to their quiet house where they're sleeping like however many hours a doctor sleeps, which I assume is a lot, but they're being paid very well to pay all those student loans for that.
Yeah.
Just raise your kid. Just raise. I know Amy's cheering right now because she's like, "Yeah, Chris, you tell him. Just raise your kid, man. Fuck all those people. No, they don't know shit."
That's what we started doing these last couple of days. Is just we're like, let's just let her sleep. She's gonna wake up, screaming her head off and wanting like a diaper changer to be fed. So
she'll wake up when she wakes up.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as she eventually wakes up, Ed, everything is fine.
The first week was like, is she breathing? Is she okay? Is she warm enough?
Put a mirror under her nose.
That's that. You get that first week where you're like, I just want to make sure she stays alive. And like, is she good? Okay, good. She's breathing. We can hear it. All right, good.
I love it, man. I think it's perfect that you had a daughter. Like, I think if I had a daughter, it wouldn't work. But I think you having a daughter is going to be perfect.
Why do you say that?
Well, because you have, your feminine traits.
There you go.
I don't give a shit about any of that. But you have very, you're, of the two of us, you would be the one better equipped to, handle the emotional bombardment that will inevitably come.
Just say to Ed, you're emotional. You're the emotional one.
You are. Well, I mean, you have a wider range of emotions that you publicly tap into that I feel like I don't really get into unless Harry Potter is involved, because I cry like a motherfucker during Harry Potter. I love me some Harry Potter.
Always.
Yeah, until the very end, my friend. But you were like regularly, you're Ed, man. I don't know. There's no nice way to say this. It's a conversation for Lars, and not like, no disrespect to anybody, but this isn't a conversation for public consumption. This is how, we as a family would talk behind the scenes. But
well, look, man,
you're
who said the show was just 2 friends in front of a mic, just talking,
just bullshitting, man. This is like, you guys don't know, this is the first time me and Ed, this is as close as we get now, obviously, but this is the first time I've even seen him since the baby was born. So this is, for me, this is like, here's my man, dude. I want to shower him with, I guess, insults.
If you want to see the YouTube video, I'll post it up. But
Holy shit.
you can see those bags under those eyes right there. The
Ed has
the
Ed has blacker eyes than me.
I'm straight up raccooning today, man.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
No, like raccoon eyes. They're
Oh,
black under eyes.
I thought you were throwing some epithets at me
No, come on, dude.
because we're definitely naming this episode Raccoonin now.
Oh no, please. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But no,
We'll
yeah,
see if something else comes out.
yeah. See if something else comes up. I'm sure we're gonna get some anger rants coming into this episode. So
What's there to be angry about? I'm not angry.
okay, I mean,
Why would I be angry about the thing we've talked about for years?
yeah.
Like it's years. It's this isn't anything new. This is
Or should be shocking of things that happens in the galaxy back office.
he does a great job. Anyway, fuck him. Your daughter, man. She's beautiful.
She's beautiful. She's great. Full head of hair,
Congratulations.
man. It's crazy. She definitely looks like me more than my wife, which I'm sorry. I apologize to my daughter now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hey, but you know what? It changes, man. Damien was like me, 100%. And then as he's getting older, it changes. But there was a long while like he was my mirror, and
Hmm.
now as he's getting a little older, he's starting to turn more and more into or more and more showing Erica's features. I guess I'll say.
Yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully, hopefully she starts looking more like my wife than me in the next couple of years.
I gotta ask just for our one very special listener, what is changing her poopy diapers like?
Oh man, you know what? It's not been bad. It's not been bad actually. Because before this, I mean, I have two nephews, but I never really got involved when it came to like cleaning them up. So having a daughter was like, hey, yeah, you kind of have to do that job now. So
Yeah,
I'm like an expert now, man. I got it down, dude.
you get in real quick.
I'm get in, get out, back in the crib or back, whatever, feeding her, whatever. I'm good.
Did she have that what's it called, meconium poop?
The
The like
tar
real dark. Yeah,
in the beginning she did, yeah, but she
I
kind
think
of
it's just for a little bit.
yeah she that went away pretty quickly.
That shit is fucking. I don't know how they talk, how they trick women into having multiple kids is beyond me.
Dude, from the one experience, I'm like, even in the hospital, I was like, how do people have like 5, 6 kids? Like, this is
It's a
crazy.
trick. It has to be a trick. It's
This
got
is
to be like
crazy.
R. Kelly mind control to talk these women into doing this shit two and three
Well,
times.
that's
It's crazy.
that's a little extra of what
Well, if
he's giving
anything,
women here.
I think he took some very specific steps to ensure that that didn't happen
Yeah,
even once, let
yeah.
alone twice.
Well, they're trying to catch him up, man. What are they doing to
Yeah. That all this early part is just for anyone who's listening to this for the first time.
him?
Get you out of
Welcome.
here.
Yeah, welcome or goodbye. I don't know which one you're gonna go off of.
Either one. If that scares you off, like you got no business here.
Yeah. Well, don't go back to listen to other episodes. I'm sure you'll be
Check
more
out
than
Jamaican Hitler and see if that's your vibe.
yeah. Check that out. That'd be drive up one more in the numbers on that one.
Well,
Um,
I'm glad for you, sir.
thank
Congratulations.
you, sir.
Congratulations to mom as well. Hope she's healthy and happy and everything's going well.
Yeah, she's loving it, man. We're it's very nice to see her step into like that mother role.
Oh yeah. It wakes you up, man. It should. It should make you a little better and you just kind of blossom into it.
Hmm. No, I love being a dad already, man. Just being able to hold her and kind of have that time. It's been nice. It's been nice.
It's beautiful, man. I love it.
And I was telling you earlier, and it's like I can't wait till she grows older, but I'm also like I don't want her to grow up too fast.
Well, they're like gremlins, except for with food. It's like it's years and time. Like they just get crazier and crazier and crazier. And then they hit their teenage years and then a fucking insanity bomb goes off. And you're like, why can't I have a conversation with you anymore? When did you become so difficult? And then they're difficult for a long time. And then they come back around and then they're all right.
The it's what they tell you. Don't feed your gremlins hormones after 12 years old.
This is where I stop talking.
Oh, no, I didn't. No, I didn't, whatever. I'm already offending the black community, and now I'm gonna offend like the gender community.
The gender community, the community of genders.
The community, it's just an all encompassing.
There is nothing you could say that there's nothing you could say tied to this conversation that's going to get you out of it. What you should do is like do a hard pivot and
So,
just pivot
anyways,
out of it. Yeah.
Chris Klein, right?
Here's who you guys are mad
This
at.
is the guy. This is the guy
This
you
is
should
the
be talking
guy
about.
you're furious with.
But let's talk about it, man. It was announced on our good friend Josh's Corner of the Galaxy. I was waiting for
Josh,
Josh. Um,
miss you, Ben.
Kevin Baxter has announced that the Galaxy have extended Chris Klein's contract. We don't know when that happened or how long the contract's extended for. Um, we had some inklings of it already been happened last season, but yeah. Obviously, and if you are, I mean, if you're listening to this, you're obviously part of the greater Galaxy community, so I'm sure you've seen the I wouldn't call it a press release, the statement made by the supporters of the Galaxy. And
Oh
by the
yeah,
way, I wanna we should start off with this. Everything we say here, it's our opinions. We do not
bro. I
our
live in
opinions
North Carolina. If you think I talk for everybody in the right squad, there's something wrong with your brain.
our opinions are ours alone. We do not reflect opinions on any one supporter group. So just want to put that out there, just so you know.
Any of them,
Any
any
of
of
them,
them, any
any
of
of
them.
them.
Yeah, let's just why not throw the whole blanket? We our opinions are just ours. The show is titled as it is because we both at one time were presidents of the Riot Squad. It's not the case anymore. Uh, we're both decently removed. Is that fair to say, Ed?
Yeah.
We're very passionate fans. Let's just say that. Very passionate fans, right?
Yes, I would agree.
And for
So
any Galaxy fans that would then complain about that, you're passionate too. You're good enough too. You're just fine.
just
Not
not as
talking for
passionate.
you either. Oh no, I'm not saying that. You're all so much more Amor Eterno than me. You're 1,000 times more Amor Eterno than me.
Not me
But
though.
that's him. That's him. That I wouldn't say that about you guys. I think you're the most Amor Eterno.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has an opinion, and your opinion is valid or whatever. And we're just having a conversation. So if any of that offended you, turn it off and go fuck yourself. But if it didn't, Ed, please.
Should we read the statement put out? You want to do that?
Do you have what the Galaxy said about Klein? I think we should start there.
No. Do you have that up?
Oh well, I
I
guess
have
I should have pulled it up before I asked you.
I have the statement. Let me read the statement while you pull that up. Then.
Go for it.
So this was sent out on January 13th. This was put out simultaneously on each of the Instagram posts on that's where I saw it at least of each of the Galaxy supporter groups. So you're talking Galaxians, Lars, ACP, Galaxy Outlaws, and Ghost Ultras. You want to go first?
Yeah, I got the Klein one if you
Okay.
want. Baxter posted from the Los Angeles Times on Thursday. Per club policy, we don't discuss employment terms. Chris Klein is the LA Galaxy's president, and he will resume full responsibilities at the close of the winter transfer window. End quote. That is what the Galaxy felt needed to be said. Now, Ed, please, please,
So this is what was the statement that was put out by all the supporters groups
in response.
in response up to that news breaking on that show. Given recent news regarding Chris Klein's contract extension, leadership of the Los Angeles Galaxy supporter groups have unanimously agreed not to attend any matches until a change in the front office is made. We encourage fans of the club at all levels, whether members of organized supporters or otherwise, to join us in this action. This boycott does not come from an animosity
Animosity. There
to
you
the
go.
players, thank you, and coaching staff, rather a frustration with continued front office practices that have placed off-field business in higher importance than the on-field product. Our expectation our expectation is that executive leadership for our club will work with transparency, with honesty, and with professionalism. We demand that all involved have pride in our colors, as we do. We will no longer tolerate the types of dishonest and apathetic business practices which have embarrassingly come to characterize our front office and executive operations. We will not return to the stands until change is made at the highest level. We promise to collectively ensure that our club returns to operating with integrity and openness as it has in the past. We will accept nothing less, and it's signed by all the sports groups. So, Chris,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, let's talk about the extension. Let's talk about Klein staying on.
Yeah.
And the
I'm gonna reiterate again. We only speak for us.
and
Okay.
the blatancy to just they know what they were doing by not announcing it, waiting until you know it really was getting. I mean, it really wasn't even. No one was. I don't feel like no one was really even pressuring him to or the Galaxy to come out and say, "Hey, what's going on with Klein?" I mean, I know the reporters are asking questions and whatnot, but I mean,
You know what's funny? Literally the day before, I had tweeted because I'm very sparsely using Twitter at this point. Like it's hard because it is certainly an information tool. And when things change in Major League Soccer and in the Galaxy, like it is the quickest way to get information. There's no two ways about it. It's just a fucking cesspool of anger and hatred. So it's tough to be around. Um, but I had tweeted out that like the day before, it's embarrassing that they don't even feel the need to tell you whether he's continued on as president or not. And I don't think these things are connected by any stretch, but it it had just gone on for a long fucking time that they hadn't said a word. You had no idea, what was going on. And
and
then yeah,
even in the other times where they're like, we're not feeling obligated to
per
release
club
the.
policy.
Yeah, exactly. Come
Yeah.
on. I mean,
Unless you're Samuel Grandsir, who signed a 3-year deal. Because then I mean, as an employee, as an employee of the club, which doesn't I don't know if they're treated as separate. Like
or Cabral who signed for a 5-year deal, but okay.
yeah, they released the terms on all of those employees of the
Mm-hmm.
club. But this employee of the club, you don't, I guess when it's wildly fucking unpopular, then you don't have to announce it. But when it's pretty fucking popular, then you love to talk about how long people are going to be working there.
Yeah.
Stelvik, they won't tell us how long he was supposed to work there, but you know, hey, shit's uh shit's different for some people. Yeah, it was man, it's so embarrassing. It's just it's hard knowing who a lot of these characters are and a lot of the people involved are because I can totally see them being like, "Hey, we got to say something. What do we say? Who is it? That's Kevin Baxter. Pff, tell him this. Bang bang bang." Like,
Basically telling
no,
basically telling everyone to just go suck it.
go fuck yourself. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, it's 1,000% go fuck yourself. All of
Yeah.
it's go fuck yourself. They didn't look,
In corporate speak, man. Which
look,
we've known
look,
with dealings because both you and I have and we were both leaders of Lars, and we've been in those meetings, and we've been in
and we're
those.
not now. We're not
Yeah.
now. We're not claiming anything. I want.
But we've definitely been in those meetings where you ask questions or you raise things, and then you get the corporate answers back.
Mhm.
And this is definitely the corporate answer of like, yeah, eat a bag of dicks.
We don't. We're not going to give you any further information. This is
Yeah.
what this look. This is the way I translate it. This is the answer we feel we owe you. And the answer we feel we owe you is per club policy, we don't discuss how long somebody's going to be here, but he's still president and he's going to still be president. And that's it. And not like, we understood after an internal investigation that we took, we discovered that he actually wasn't at fault for this, which they're not going to do because it means, that the other guy who they're throwing under the bus, because that's what we do. We just fucking throw people under the bus. We're not going to do any of that. We're going to tell you, hey, he's still here and he's still going to be here, and that's it. And this is only because you're getting mouthy. Because if you weren't getting mouthy, you wouldn't know that. You know what I think about it? Was that the question? Like, what did I think about
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I mean, what's your thoughts on the extension and um
My
yeah.
well, my when
How
did
are
he
you
get
feeling,
extended?
Chris?
Am I
How are
feeling?
you
How
feeling?
am I feeling? You know what? I'm a parent. I scarcely care. But I'll be honest with you, man. Like the first thing I thought about was when was he, if it was a new contract, because I think I listened to Baxter on Corner of the Galaxy, and his thing essentially was like, well, he must have been re-upped, and if he was re-upped, it must have been a multi-year deal. So it's likely, from Baxter's assessment, would be at least 2-year deal. When did that happen? You know what I mean? When did that decision get made? Because I assume multinational, multi-billion dollar organizations don't make snap decisions.
They don't make
They don't
decisions on a
make
whim.
quick calls like that. Like,
Yeah.
you can have somebody who's like, I'm going to wave a wand and make this shit happen. But when it comes to like you're re-upping a wildly unpopular character inside this organization, I assume that doesn't happen quickly. So when did it happen? And if the win was prior to the season ticket renewal date, I would fucking love to know that. If I could ask a question. I read in the corner of the galaxy Discord that there's apparently a meeting tomorrow. If that meeting is taking place today, when you hear this, if that meeting is taking place, I would love someone to ask when was it decided that he's getting re-upped, or when was it decided that you were going to keep him on, if
And
if
why
it
wasn't it
was keeping
announced?
him on, and why didn't you announce that?
Hmm.
And was the likelihood that there would be an issue with season ticket renewals, especially given that in Baxter's article, one of the primary reasons, this is why we have told you guys a long fucking time ago to stop buying season tickets to these people, because you're signing up for the people who are like, if the thing he's being measured on is financial metrics, why would you improve that if you don't want him there anymore? It
Well,
doesn't make sense.
that's your vote of confidence in the organization.
But from his article, if it's the thing that he's being judged on, what he was being judged on was re-upping the Herbalife deal and strong financials, strong ticket numbers. You can't do anything about the Herbalife. People have been anti Herbalife since the original contract got signed. You can't do anything about the Herbalife. You can do something about the strong financials that he's literally getting extensions on now. Like, it. If you want to keep buying tickets and buying season tickets and buying jerseys and buying all that shit, that's your call, man. I'm never going to tell people what they should do with their money. I would say what I would hope you might do with your money, what I would hope you would do with your money. I'm going to tell you what to do with your money. But they're telling you what is keeping him here. They're telling you what is the strength of argument he has to maintain his job, and it's the money you spend on his product. Felt good. I've been waiting for this. That felt good.
Well, yeah, and it's something we've really preached on here. And again, I'll reiterate what you said, Chris. Like, we're not telling anyone what to do with their money. Um, you worked hard for that money. We're not telling you to not go, not sign up. But if your displeasure in how the team's been run for the last 10 years, one thing you do is you vote with your dollar, because this is America. These are American sports, and this is how things work. If
It's
you
not even it's
if
not
you
even the
if
one. It's the only thing you can do.
Yeah, if you're messing with a team's money, there's going to be changes made. I mean, that's just hands down. That's what's going to come down to.
And like, they hung banners, not even just like Lars and just Victoria Block, like fans around the stadium hanging Klein out banners, bringing signs into the stadium that say Klein out. They flew a plane over the fucking stadium that said Klein out. They don't give a shit about any of it. They don't care about fucking any of it. The only thing you can do to affect the change, if you want to see that change, is vote with your wallet. That's it. It's the only option. I, I I would love to know the date they had decided he was coming back and how close that is to the season ticket renewal date.
Oh yeah, because that's one thing came up with the whole protest stuff, and why now, and why not, whatever, why not before the season ticket renewals and all that stuff. And I replied to that person. I'm like, had they mentioned, back in September when they started begging for these ticket renewals, like, you don't think people would have done the same thing had they announced, hey, Chris Klein's extended for another 2 years, or not even mention the amount of years he's extended his contract with the team. Do you think they did not purposely not? Did you think they purposely did not say anything because they knew that people would not renew had they known, hey, Chris is going to come back? Like, they knew what they were doing. They knew not to mention it. They knew
Say
not to.
say 500 people wouldn't renew because Klein came back. That's a substantial amount of money. That's
Yeah,
a substantial chunk of their season ticket base.
and I think had they announced it. You might have seen more than that. Honestly, I think you've
I
seen.
was just, I thought I was taking a pretty conservative number.
Yeah, I think that's lowballing it too.
If 500 of their season ticket numbers dwindle out of nowhere tomorrow because of one decision, you think they're not they find the most malicious reason someone can do something and then work backwards from there. What's the most malicious reason they would have to wait until Baxter is bugging them daily and weekly about Klein's extension? What's the most malicious reason they have to not have to say anything, to not say a word? Just
It's because
come up with the most selfish and malicious reason.
oh, it's just the money.
It's money.
It's just
Of
the
course
money.
it's money. He's there on season. Why do you think we have to have this game at SoFi? We got to have this game at SoFi, and we got to be in the League Cup, and we got to play
At the
friendlies,
Rose
and
Bowl.
we got to do yeah, we got to do everything we can. He's renewed on your money. That's it. It's the only thing he's judged on. He wasn't renewed on the back of how the team is performing. He wasn't renewed on the back of how they're competing against LAFC if they win, if they get a last minute equalizer or a last minute goal to save embarrassment. And everybody goes, hey, we beat LAFC for one more year. It's the money. It's just the tickets. It's just the merchandise. It's just the money. It's just the money.
Yeah.
Like you got to see it. You have to see it. And I've seen people. I've seen the responses to the boycott from the leadership of the supporters group. I've seen people go like, well, they already bought their season tickets. Yeah. And they're still about their shit.
Yeah.
And they're still fucking like they under you think look, you think Andrew doesn't understand that he's already spent his season ticket money? What's his name? Is it Anthony Martinez who runs Galaxy Outlaws? You think he doesn't understand he already spent his season ticket money? You think they don't get that? It's in spite of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because for these people, it's not about the money. For these people, it's about the health and well-being of the organization as a whole, of the club as a whole. It's not about their money because they know that they're loyal. So if they got to wait a year, then they wait a year. Like it's not about the money for them. It is about the money for AEG. It is about the money for Chris Klein. It is about the money for Dan Beckerman. It is about the money for those guys.
Yeah,
So if you're going to affect a change, it has to be going after the money.
yeah, and you know what? And I do understand that. I do understand if you're not part of one of these, supporters groups, and you're, you know, Galaxy Joe guy on in section 134 with his, family and he's going to games, blah blah blah. I get that. I get that you've already paid your 1,200 bucks, whatever, 1,500 bucks that you spend on your season tickets. I get that. I if you are the one who's like, I want this team to be better, I want this team to be more transparent when it comes to things like the back office, dealings of your presidents of the club who's been here for now he's going on his 11th year.
Yeah.
Going on his 11th year.
Has overseen the worst run in the history of the club 2 times over now.
And
Like he's
so
the only president who's worse than himself in running the club.
and then my thing is that I have seen those two of the detractors of like, oh well, they already got your money, so what's the point of this? Well, the point is that now your biggest impact is going to be the in-game product, right? You're the
Bro,
in-stadium product.
people like them, we would still be riding on the back of the bus.
Yeah.
Like people like them, nothing would change. They're the same. It's the ideology of people who are like, what am I going to do? I'm just me. And
Yeah,
it's like, what do you mean you're just you?
and
You're you.
these are the same people who are like, oh, changes got to be made, blah blah blah. So when someone comes up with an idea of how to make some changes, they go, oh, well, it's not going to work. Well, first of all, you don't even know if it's going to work or not. This is unprecedented when it comes to
Never
anything
seen
that
anything like this.
this has never happened in the world of the Galaxy.
But prior to the ACB, if you guys weren't around back then, prior to the ACB, Lars and the Galaxians couldn't get on the same page about anything.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea that all the supporters groups are in unison, or the leadership for the supporters groups are in unison on the issue. Like There's never been anything close to this.
Mm-hmm. And you know,
I
and
don't know,
and
man.
and yes, it's not going to be 100% with the people inside the supporters groups. There's going to be those who are still going to want to go to the games, and I, again, I would say not to. I would say you need to be in solidarity with your fellow people. But I would also say if you are going to be those people who are going to go, um, then you need to do something in the stadium. You can't. You have to be the ones holding up signs saying "Klein out," or you have to be the ones who are doing something to be in solidarity, even though you don't want to miss the games. I would still I would still implore people to not be the ones who are like, all right, well, I'm going to jump in the combo box and I'm going to start chants. Like, please don't. We don't need someone to take over. We need those people who are going to be there to actually
Well,
uh,
then you would be,
do your part in showing your disdain for the front office or doing something.
yeah. I mean, from my perspective, you would be working against the supporters groups if you were someone to do something like that.
Hmm.
I don't even want to say it because I don't want to push shit like that in in somebody's mind.
I just because I know for a fact
There's always stupid fucks. Yeah.
there's not going to be 100% of support behind
I wonder if the
the
boxes are
boycott.
even going up. I don't know if the boxes would go up.
I mean, it would save them money, and that's the thing. Again, bottom line, hey, they don't have to.
Makes Klein's bottom line look better.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I wouldn't think the boxes would go up. Um, because if they did, it seems like it would be the Galaxy asking for trouble. But you know, I any person who's listened to this show for any amount of time knows that I have. It's hard to find a basement for how low I think about the people who make the decisions involved with the Galaxy.
Yeah, and again, I'm not saying I want these to happen. I want people who are the ones that are not really supporting the boycott. Um, I would hope they are at least somewhat in solidarity with their brothers and sisters in the supporters groups. I'm saying, hey, okay, um, I may not feel that I may not feel that they already have my money, so I'm gonna go. I mean, I feel like I know that's gonna be
Totally
uh,
understand that.
you're gonna have some people who are gonna be having those feelings, but I would again say don't try to start chants. Don't try to hey, we need to be the ones who are adding to the atmosphere because no one else is here. I would say please don't do that. Please sit there, enjoy it if that's what your plan is because you paid for your money, blah blah blah. Or even hang out up top. Hang out. Don't go right down in the stands. Hang out up top of in the Buena Vista or hang out, whatever. But I mean, I think you have to be in solidarity with your fellow supporters on this, um, in at least in some way.
I would be remiss. I'll be honest with you. I'm remiss to tell anybody what to do who's bought their ticket and shown up to the game. You do whatever
Mm-hmm.
you feel like. Stay out of the box. That's not right. That's not your place. If you're not normally in there, stay out of there. That's not your place. Um, but you know, you got to understand they're not the supporters groups are not working against your interests. They're working for your interests,
Yeah,
and it is a move that you're not willing to make in lockstep with them. And I believe me, I understand that. I would hope that you would be in lockstep with them because again, they're working for your best interests. These are the guys who meet with Klein and meet with all those guys. This is something they haven't. I've supported the Galaxy coming on 20 years now. Never seen some shit like this. You think about what it must have taken. And from all the articles I read, it seemed like it was a fairly quick conversation. You think about what it must have taken for a quick conversation to make something happen that has never happened on the Galaxy before. It's unprecedented. So if you have any love for either of us or this show or Lars or Victoria Block or ACB or the Outlaws or the Galaxians or anybody else, if you got love for any of those people, fucking enjoy the game. You know, cheer when something good happens. Other than that, sit on your hands because the least you can do is support them by turning that place into a library because that's what should happen.
yeah, and none of that. And people want to ask or say, oh, what is this going to do? Well, if you don't have, conservative, let's say 1,000 people, if every single one, and I think that's even lowballing the season tickets of every single supporter group or whatever. But imagine those people not buying concessions and especially Lars, they're not buying beer up top 138 and
Yeah.
all that money they're losing. So it's gonna be it won't be a crazy amount of money, but it'll be felt where they're not seeing that revenue
Depending
for
on how long it goes on.
yeah.
Yeah, it'll be felt. It'll
Say
be
say
felt pretty
say
harshly.
say it goes a year. What is that? 16 games, 17
Like
games.
17.
Um, and then we haven't even spoken about we haven't even talked about the home opener. Um, you know,
Bro, I was going
on a brand new TV deal in a
on
giant
Apple.
ass
It's the
stadium
big, it's
where first of all then we're going to sell that out anyways. Second,
why were we at the Rose Bowl?
it
Why were we at the Rose Bowl for a home opener instead of Dignity Health Sports Park? Why?
you would have thought it would have been a big signing or a big name. I think everyone was like, it's got to be somebody, right? It's got to be someone
I
who's
still
gonna be
think, I'll be fair,
who's
man.
gonna
I
be able to
still think a
fill
name
out
is coming.
someone who's gonna fill out what's a Rose Bowl like
I think
90,000,
it's 80,000. I
85 or
think it's
something like
80 and change.
that. Okay,
Yeah.
but I mean, that's what three times more than three times the size of Dignity. So it's like I don't know, man. You had to imagine that they were gonna sign someone big.
I saw someone, to that point, I saw someone on Guessman's Discord saying they're reconsidering going now because not even, I mean, the boycott in mind, but it wasn't really the boycott. It's like the sheer amount of LAFC fans that'll be there, especially if supporters group leadership is like, don't go.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you can avoid going, don't go. And you all can avoid going. But yeah, it's hey man, I'm sure for every person who is a Chris Klein apologist, I'm sure he'll be out there looking out for you. I'm sure he'll
Right.
be out there doing his best, like the ACB would, or like how Lars would be, or how the Outlaws would be, or how the Galaxians would be. I'm sure Klein and Karofsky will be out there themselves, ushering people and trying to ensure you and everybody around you safety in the same way the supporters groups that you don't support, in the same way that they would be. I'm sure they'll all be out there. And again, this isn't an antagonistic thing. There's a line in the sand. There's a very clear line in the sand right now. And people need your support. And this is what they do for you week in and week out in a way that you don't really think about, in a way that is taken for granted, to be fair. In a way that's taken for granted is like, oh, I can go. I'm going to roll with this lump of Galaxy fans. Well, what happens when that lump of Galaxy fans who also paid for a ticket, mind you, every person that's singing inside that stadium, every person every ACB member that's waving a flag, every Lars member that's banging on a drum or singing a song, or every Galaxian that's standing up on the chair and singing, all those people bought a ticket no different than you. Don't owe you shit. Those people now need your support and need your backup. But for every Klein apologist, I'm sure he'll be out there watching your back like they would be.
Yeah, and it's not for nothing, but the reason why a lot of the things you enjoy at the game are because of the leadership of the supporter groups who meet with the front office
Absolutely.
and advocate for things to be better in the stadium.
Absolutely.
They're not meeting with guy from section 103 on a regular basis. They're not
Who
meeting
likes the
with
songs?
yeah. They're
Like who
not
likes the songs but doesn't do anything else?
they're not meeting with mom and dad and three kids in section 126. They're meeting with these leaderships and these supporters groups. And yes, it is to benefit the supporters groups and to do more things and have a better in stadium atmosphere. But also,
I,
it's a lot of things like getting the tailgates better. It's about bringing the tailgates back in general.
you know,
It's
that was
about
people don't know that was a long fight.
they
That
didn't
was a
they
long fight.
went back in the day when it's like early Beckham days, I think it was, and they straight up banned tailgating.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was no tailgating.
We stood in the mud and drank because we'll drink anywhere.
Yeah, and
But I mean, I would say it's more of like it's those conversations are to maintain open dialogue between the wants and desires of the supporters Like again, no disrespect to the fans. So like an average fan, where'd you put this guy?
I was just throwing out section numbers.
We've been calling him Jeff in 119 in my house, like random Galaxy fan. Um,
Or isn't one of our
Not you,
guys?
Jeff 109.
I
No,
know. I was gonna say
that's a
Jeff in
different guy. No,
109.
no, no. I know. I'm not smoking as much weed anymore, sir. I know. Not to be confused with friend of the show Jeff 109, but Jeff in 119 as we call him. Um, it's not to discount Jeff in 119. Like you bought your ticket too. That's why if you bought a ticket somewhere in the stadium for any of the games and you end up going, hey man, I fucking get it. I get it. But all these other benefits that the supporters groups bring you, like this is your opportunity to help them. This is your
Yeah,
opportunity to have their back, especially understanding what they want for you is for AEG to stop dragging along this guy who has demolished what the organization was, demolished what the club was.
they're trying to give you the value back in your ticket,
The,
and the value your seat is the
the
value.
value in your seat. Yeah.
Yeah,
Look, again, he said that because it will partially defend him, but he said that with the specific goal of trying to make it how this the Sounders doesn't really count, but like the Timbers really with owning your season ticket in and of itself is valuable because it's so hard to get a season ticket. Well, dickhead, season ticket numbers have gone down under your time because you don't win games, which is what people care about.
isn't the cap like 14,000, and I think season tickets are just like 6 or 7,000. So
I don't know. I'll say I don't know what they are, but
so
I know that they've gone down. I
yeah,
know that they have
they're
tumbled.
definitely not at where they can be, where you can be like, well, your ticket's your benefit.
They aren't where they were when you drove Bruce Arena out of the club
Mm-hmm.
because you know better. You're the world builder. Gerard with busted hamstrings and a drunken party boy from Barcelona / Tottenham / Ipswich. That'll do. Ipswich. We just forget about that. I'm not going back to Geo, I promise. Those days are done. But Ipswich, like, that's Captain Dickhead. Like, because he knows better. He knows better. He knows better than everybody.
Yeah,
Man.
I mean, and that's
I'll be honest with you, man. I can't even believe they're boycotting. It's so having been in
look,
leadership, man.
yeah.
When I saw it, and I'm sure you probably felt the same way. When I saw it, I was like, whoa, because Lars doesn't. That's not the way the group operates. That's just not. I think we've talked about it here before, but like that's not the mentality. That's not for that to happen. And to have Lars in general, I mean, I haven't seen anybody from our side. I haven't seen anybody from our group, but to have Larsers be like lock step, like, man, fuck them dudes. We ain't
I've
going.
seen a couple that I've
Have
had
you?
friends of like, oh, I'm like, it's disappointing.
Well, I mean, there's one that he don't count because
No,
that's
no,
his
no,
thing.
no. Yeah, no, not the great contrarian. No,
Okay.
not our buddy. No, I've seen some other people and it's like, it's a little disappointing. But
Well,
again,
what are you gonna do?
it goes down to the whole thing like, hey, they got your money already, kind of thing. And I'm like, I
I get
get it.
it. Again,
Like,
I get it. I get it. Totally get it.
but yeah, that came to me honestly as a shock. I mean, Lars is what you would call apathetic at a lot of things,
Yeah, but not about the club.
and not about the club. That's what I'm. Yeah, and so to see, and especially seeing, the solidarity between all the supporters, and that's why people, the people have this notion that the supporters still hate each other for some reason, even though in the last 5 years it's been the best they've ever worked together, and it's
Yeah.
been the best relationships that we've had
Yeah.
with each other.
I got
And
myself
so
in trouble about that once. Cause like I think it was like maybe 4 years ago, Baxter tweeted something out and like in
oh,
his
because
it was in his article.
he tried to start some shit. Yeah, he
I
tried to
think
start some
well, I don't
shit.
think he's tried to start shit. This is where I'm saying I got myself in trouble. And I reacted the same way. I don't think he tried to start shit, but I read it and I was like, oh, this motherfucker's trying to start some shit. So
Mm-hmm.
like I don't even remember what I said, but it was something like blowing it out of proportion. Um, I think it was something like he doesn't know what it was out of line. I understand at this stage of my life, I understand it was out of line. But uh yeah, it was written like
Look, you probably
the
deserved it.
supporters have beef. And I'm like, bro, there was like a get down like 10 years ago. What are you talking about? Like most of the people who are even in it don't come around anymore. What are you talking about? Like it's a whole different world. We literally travel together. What the fuck are you talking about? We literally traveled together last year. Now I'm getting mad at him, but whatever. He got me the 2 line article, so me and Baxter are cool. But yeah, there's this weird perception to people who don't think that the supporters groups have some sort of like disagreement, misunderstanding, or beef, or
It
whatever.
goes back to the whole thing where Lars is in their corner, and then V Black, and
We
it's
ain't moving.
and they don't. Yeah, Lars doesn't want to move, and so they don't want to. They don't want to be one in unison with the. They'd be like, no, man, it doesn't come down to that.
Literally, the president of the club that everybody wants out when he was a player said it's hard to play at or not when he was a player, after he retired, but he would say it's hard to play at I think the Home Depot Center by at that time because there's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. You go on if you're trying to score on the north end, there's fans on the north end giving you shit. If you're trying to score on the south end, there's fans on the south end trying to give you shit. Why the fuck will we move?
and you've heard that from other players too before. Like,
Why we
um,
move?
what's his name? That oh god, Bornstein. I think he mentioned that too at some point. Like, you have guys, you can escape it. Is basically what he's if I'm summarizing correctly.
Yeah,
And whatever. That doesn't matter to me. But I really enjoy that they came in unison. It was like, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna show our disdain, our felt disrespect from the club of not being given this respect to be like, hey, we've signed him back to extension or whatever. Um, to blatantly be like, hey, we're not going to announce it because we know people are not going to renew their tickets or a
they
good
don't
chunk
owe
of them.
you anything.
And they
Why
don't
would they
owe,
tell
yeah,
you, Ed? They don't owe you shit. Who the fuck are you?
you're just the people who pour your money into this team
It's crazy. It's wild
and
to me.
give your
Other people
time
didn't
every
don't read it
weekend
that way. That it was the the
for
response is essentially, who the fuck are you to ask who is running this thing?
9 months, 9-10 months of the year. You go to every single game. You're going to viewing parties. You're going to events. You're paying your money for jerseys, your concessions, for this, and that. You're going on away trips. This is the stuff that you're doing
Run
for
that
for
check. Run that check, baby.
but it don't matter because all you are to them in their eyes,
You're an ATM.
dollars and cents.
You're dollars and cents. That's it.
That's all you are to them. And
Well, they let you
so,
know as long as you're fine with it.
and that's when I have the issue of people going, well, this doesn't make sense, and or it's the timing is not right, blah blah blah. Which I think we should have done something after the 2017 season. I wish
Mm-hmm.
we would have done something, but again, it's the past. What can we do about that now? This is the now. This is today. This is what we're doing now. I can't say about 5 years ago or 6 years ago when we were the worst team in the league, and he got a contract extension off that year. I mean, I wish we could have done something back then, but this is now. I think people need to support it, and it's only going to be benefiting you if you are a
Yeah.
supporter of the club, because it's a way for the team and the ownership to hopefully um, have a better understanding that we won't go down silently. We won't just take another 10 years of missed opportunities, mismanagement of money, of funds, of players, of the atmosphere, the um, in stadium atmosphere of games, the anything you've enjoyed from this team that has over the years drastically been diminished. If you're a season ticket member holder for more than 5 years, you know that do you really get a value for your ticket? Is convenience enough? And I know there's one of our friends. I know the convenience of having the tickets is good enough, but is it really when you can go on and they'll have Groupon deals every so often, or you can
They'll
go and
undercut the value of a healthy chunk of the tickets in your ticket book by flogging them to Groupon or having some overzealous ticket rep who's tired of getting screamed at by his boss, flipping them to LAFC fans to get them in the stadium because they just need them. They just need them sold.
sold, or they have the 4 tickets for $100 and you get a beer, or you get
A
your
scarf
family
and
pack, a scarf,
exclusive
whatever.
scarf.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And how many times do you see that throughout the year? It's almost every other game or every
yeah.
game. So they're undervaluing your ticket by still saying, hey, your ticket's the valuable ticket. Your ticket's the one. Your seat's the one that is a valuable seat to have, when they're just lying to you. They're lying to
Yeah.
you. Sure, they're just lying to you.
Well, it's, it works. Their job, I told someone earlier, I wish I could remember. Um, like Chris Klein, we've said it here for years. Chris Klein does the job. He does a great, great job. It just
That's
isn't the job you
that's
want
the
him to do.
thing. That is the thing. And you've
He's
mentioned it
outstanding.
before.
Yeah, he's
He's great.
outstanding.
He's great at his job for what they're asking him to do,
Mhm.
and that is not to win championships.
Why would they renew someone who's terrible at what his remit is? Like his remit is not to win, to build a championship winning team. His remit is not to build a team that's even not a laughing stock, because clearly that doesn't matter, or he wouldn't have got the 2017 extension. What they're requesting of him is not what you request of him. If you're okay with that, then we're all good. Then keep going, keep buy all your shit, whatever, do whatever you want. It's fine.
If you fully understand that his position as the president of the galaxy is to make the team money and not necessarily have them have the on-field product represented what you feel they should represent. As long as you're going into knowing that and you're okay with that, I mean, I guess then it is what it is then.
Now, Ed, I could understand one thinking, well, he is removed from the soccer side of things. MLS has now officially made it through his suspension.
For a year.
But he told us he removed himself from soccer decisions years ago.
7 years ago. 6, 7 years
Why
ago.
would who gets suspended from a job they're not doing?
Mm-hmm.
Chris Klein.
Because
He's only one in the world.
Again, this is going off our experience of being in those meetings, being face to face with the people, and him saying to us he does not make the decisions on the soccer side of things.
It's not his thing, man. Yeah,
but yet he gets in trouble, and he gets levied fines, and he gets suspended from soccer operations, even though he doesn't do the soccer side of so it's again,
it's a weird thing to get suspended from, the thing that you don't do. Of all the things MLS, to slap him on the wrist for all the things MLS could have done, you got suspended from a job you stopped doing years ago.
Supposedly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happens after the suspension?
Back to business, man.
Right?
Back to normal business.
What happens when that's done? He's just that guy again.
And I think that's what and people ask about this is going back to the statement made by the supporters. Because yes, some of it is vague on purpose. I think so. I think it's saying like things like transparency, which again, this goes back to what we've been asking for 15 years when it comes to the front office dealings. What are the roles of your front office? What is a Jovan Karofsky's role as the technical director and head scout or whatever he is of the Galaxy?
Mm-hmm.
What is the role of President Chris Klein? Why is he being suspended from soccer operations when he himself has told us he has nothing to do with the soccer side of the operations? So what is the defined roles of these staff members that you have? And we'd probably get some BS corporate answer again of like, well, it's none of your business.
Well, I would stop you there and to say, it's probably rough to speculate what response you would get to that. What we can do is look at the history that we've observed, and then make your ruling or your feelings about that.
Well, one, we would never get the answer to it, but yes,
it's been purposefully muddied for years. Who does what? Who answers to whom? What is the responsibility of each individual person in the hierarchy of the galaxy? It's been purposefully muddied. I mean, it's what you would do if you've surrounded yourself by former teammates and friends. You're all doing everything.
Yeah.
There isn't it's the reason why all these people keep getting scapegoated under him.
Mm-hmm.
Because if everyone's doing everything, everyone's at fault for everything that goes wrong. Karofsky never leaves. Klein never leaves. The president above them has changed, but they don't go anywhere. The general manager and the coaches beneath them have changed, but those two don't go anywhere. They don't move, no matter what. They've outlived everyone. Even in the article talking about the protests and the suspensions, people mention that Klein is the last of the old guard. It's him and Karofsky. They've
Hmm.
both been there forever. They've both been architects and overseen the complete dismantling of the LA Galaxy as it was. Both of them. So I don't even really know what Greg's going to do. He seems to be general manager in all but name. Does that seem accurate? I mean, he got sporting director as a title, but what is different about him being sporting director than Karofsky being technical director?
Yeah.
What is different in Karofsky's technical director from Klein's president if he's not involved in soccer operations?
Again, that's what I would implore. That I think you mentioned they said that there's going to be a meeting or something.
That's what I saw in Guessman's Discord.
Okay. Um, if there's a meeting, I mean, this is I'd say one big aspect of we need to find out what are the roles of the individual
Clearly,
people. What are the clearly
specifically,
defined roles?
specifically defined roles. Where does the line end on Klein and begin on Karofsky? Where does the line end on Karofsky and begin on Vanny? Specifically, where does that line happen? What is within Karofsky's job detail specifically? What is within Vanny's job detail and what is within his responsibilities specifically? That's what I would like. I'm not in this meeting. I'm not involved in supporters group leadership anymore. But were I involved in supporters group leadership? That's a question I'd like to know. So that if things continue to go wrong, because I'm a positive man in general, if things continue to go wrong, then we can isolate who was fucking up. So we don't have to scapegoat Pete Vianis or Kurt Onolfo, who shouldn't have been in that job, or Ziggy Schmid or Schelotto. So we don't have to scapegoat all these other people when we see who runs the academy, so that if seems like it would be a bad idea in general to have players' agents be the brother of the guy who coaches them. Seems like it would be a bad idea. We could go, okay, well, you were the one who's in charge of that, so you need to go. You know what I mean? Instead of
Yeah.
promoting that person to general manager. Or why was he then promoted to general manager? It seems like he oversaw some pretty stupid ass shit. Those are some of the questions I'd like to know.
Yeah. I mean, speaking, you saw like the tweets from this is it Mendes? Yuli Mendes? His dad tweeting out like, "Man, I wish Yuli would have stayed in MLS
Oh, Yuli, yeah.
and all this stuff, man." And
Man, the guy bail that dude out. Come on.
he
That's
said
that's a dad. That's a dad who's just thinking about his boy.
his dad's going on the. I put it on the Lars Discord. I was like, he's going on the apology tour.
Yeah, well, who wouldn't who wouldn't try to, stand up for his kid?
Bring all those boys back, man. Bring him. Bring Kobe back. Bring um, who else?
Well, Alex Mendez. Oh no, it was Uli's dad.
Yeah, Uzi's dad.
Um, you know, I, you know what I thought? I did see that, and all I thought was like, surely that boy would have asked his father, "What do you think I should do?"
Oh, 100%.
And if the father was like, "You should go to Europe," and it's not worked out, he probably feels pretty fucking bad. And
Well,
if he had stayed with the Galaxy and stayed in MLS, he'd be playing by now. Even
I
if
only
not for us, he'd
I
be
only
playing.
mentioned that because you brought up the agent of the brother who was the coach,
The Clevens, yeah.
the Clevens, and so that just brought up to my mind of those tweets
No,
from
I
him.
mean you're not wrong. I just if he asked his dad like, what do you think I should do? Should I stay in MLS or should I go to Europe? And his dad was like, you should go, if I don't know, but his dad was like, you should go to Europe. And then like it's essentially fucking tanked his kid's career.
Well,
Like,
especially
wouldn't you
if
feel
the guy who's the agent was like, "Hey, I can get this done," and then the coach was like, "Hey, you should just go sign with Europe."
you should probably go somewhere else? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's
I mean it's bad, man. And that's the thing. Like soccer is dirty. Soccer is a filthy sport. And so I could understand the father feeling badly and venting, but he doesn't understand that there's like Galaxy Twitter and they're still reading your tweets 5 years later, six
got
years
got
later.
receipts, bro.
I follow him. I'd never stop following him. Squadcast follows him.
Mm.
Um, and it's not for me, it's not a receipts thing. It's like I get it. But I get him wanting to vent, but I also get the Twitterverse wanting to isolate and highlight those things. Like he ended up deleting them all because he couldn't just like have a moment. But that's why you don't have moments on fucking social media,
On
people.
social media,
That's why
man.
you don't have moments on Twitter. You have them in a journal by yourself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, what else can we talk about? Yeah, let's. I guess we can wrap it up. Or what else
Oh,
we
I
can
thought
talk
we had
about?
questions. I thought you
Oh
had
yes.
lightning round questions.
Anything else before we get to lightning round?
Hey man, I wish all of them the best. I have said for years, I think Chris Klein is a decent human being and just not a great president. And apparently I was wrong. He is a decent human being and an exceptional fucking president. Uh, it, I hope he finds happiness in the job he is doing. And I hope every single supporter and fan alike does their best to support the supporters groups in all this. I think that's good.
That would be my hope is that people would see that this is to the benefit of everyone,
Mm-hmm.
and I wish they would support it, even if you're kind of on the fence of like, hey, I already bought my ticket or I already have my season ticket, and yes, it's asking a lot to have you eat that for however long this takes or however long or whatever the situation is. Um, and I guess we could talk about that. Like, what would you want to be the outcome of this, and how long you would want it to last? But before we get into the,
I would like it to last days, and I would like a speedy resolution.
mm-hmm.
I would like what would I like? I would like
Or
Chris Klein to
what
become a
would you?
stay-at-home dad.
So let's yeah, let's so let's say what would be your realistic outcome of this? What would be like like a wished or like your outcome that you wish would come true?
I mean, that's a tough question because contrary to some people's belief, I don't speak negatively about the family in public. So I wouldn't say anything. I'll be honest with everybody listening to this. I'm about as biased as shit can be on this. Um, I think they should go until they have absolute victory. I've been watching way too many World War II documentaries. I just heard what that sounded like. But they should just
Brother,
continue.
it's the
And
brothers in arms, man.
hey man, they should. Well, that side didn't talk that way. But that was the other guys. That was the guys who didn't win. They talk like that. Um, but I think they should continue until they get what they want, which is um, very credible seismic change at the top of the organization because that's the only thing that's going to save us. And don't mistake, we need saving. And I don't mean we need saving in the way that I think they're going to try to save us, which is by signing a big name notable player to kind of get everybody to turn their attention. And you know what? They may do that and it may work. And it may fill down the general admission section because that's still what the ACB is, and that's what Lars is, the general admission, so they can get filled in. That's what I think they'll end up doing. Um, but I hope it's quiet. I hope it's really, really quiet and people miss what all five of those groups bring to each match. Um, I think that's I think that's a wish. What I think a realistic resolution could happen, you move Klein up into greater AEG management, and they can keep this genius with his money making tools and ideas. They can keep him in the organization of AEG and remove him from his involvement with the Galaxy. That's what AEG just should do anyway. I don't understand why they're so opposed to it. I don't know why they're married to this guy. But if they're just not paying attention at all and he keeps making money and they really don't give a fuck about whether we win or not, what's he doing wrong?
Mm.
Every Galaxy fans who are listening to this will go buy this new jersey that's out. That looks hideous, by the way. They'll go buy this new
I like it.
jersey. Oh, you're fucking blind. It's
Why?
awful. It's awful.
What's awful about it?
It's ugly. It just doesn't. What is appealing about it? This, you know what it's going to be? It's going to be this Night Navy thing where like it comes out and then a bunch of contrarian douchebags are like, oh, look how great it looks. And then you actually see it and you're like, wow, it's as dumb as I thought it looked. It looks terrible. It's got 5 stars on it and a galaxy crest. Other than that, you can swap the entire fucking thing out and be fine.
That's what
They could do just a blue top and it would be okay.
that's my complaint about it. That it's another plain jersey
It's
with
just green. It's green.
stripes.
Oh, it's so lazy. Yeah, it's real. It's just not. It's not great. I
You've
like it.
swapped out like
They're
the you're just doing collar designs now. It's like that's all they're doing.
they've helped me maintain the protest because I definitely don't have to buy this jersey. Like easy. But I hope AEG moves Klein up. I hope somehow we can get their attention and he gets moved up into the manager because they're not. I don't think they're going to cut him. Just the payout just probably ain't worth it. But I hope he gets moved somewhere else. And we have an opportunity at getting a president who is an actual attempt at consistent success that is driven by success and isn't driven by race baiting and money. And now
Uh,
you understand. Now it all makes sense where the race baiting came from. His job is dependent on ticket sales, so
yep.
he wants all of you to feel represented and like he's down with you. This is what it is, man. So that's what I hope happens.
More cholos in the Twitter videos and the TikTok
Oh my god!
videos.
At the very end, like for no reason, like, they're not represented at all, and then at the end, he's like,
Apparently, he's somebody. Somebody mentioned. I was like, I'm
"Everybody's somebody."
yeah. But that's honestly, dude. Out of all these discussions and not just to fucking to blow you here, but that's probably the best solution that I've heard is to not fire him, just to move him somewhere else in AEG. It
That's
seems like the most
possible. That's
realistic.
the thing. Yeah, it's realistic.
Yeah.
It
Uh,
was, look, it was, this is as far as I'll get for speaking out against the family. My only problem with the statement is that it's not specific. They don't, it's not, there isn't a specific call for a specific action. Like I could see someone reading that and go, what does, at the end, go, what are they requesting?
yeah,
What is victory?
that's why I mentioned that it's vague for a reason. Because I think if say a solution is made, it can be whatever Klein gets moved to another position in AG. It's not that
That's
Klein.
victory.
It's victory. Um, but it's not saying, hey, they need to be outright fired. They need this and that. I think.
Why, why would you want somebody fired? Why
Well,
would any person
but
want somebody
that's my
fired?
point. Is that when people say, "Oh, it's too vague," well, it's vague for a reason.
Yeah.
Is that you're not calling out, "Hey, this is what we want. If this isn't met, we're not going to come back." And
It gives you room.
wiggle room. There you
It
go.
gives you wiggle room to, to claim partial victory. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the only thing that besides that, like I thought it was fine, but the lack of specificity of what the actual end goal was a bit of an issue for me.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's you know what I'll give them as a positive for that. Then it means that they're not dogmatic. They're not rigid and unwilling to work. What they're saying is, if I'm allowed to read into it, it's just my personal understanding of it. What they're saying is, guys, clearly something has to change. Clearly this isn't acceptable, and clearly this isn't working. So can we at least broach a conversation about how we can fucking fix this shit? Can we at least have a conversation about how this isn't good enough? And for us, this shit ain't good enough. Why is it acceptable for you? When for us, it clearly is so detrimental to what we were that it's a problem that we're willing to walk out of this thing that we don't miss games for. We don't miss anything for. We go to the Open Cup. We go to preseason. We go to everything.
The quote unquote most rabid and most passionate fans.
Number one traveling supporters groups in the league. Like visiting every game, only team in the league to send reps to every game. If it's not good enough for us, why is it acceptable for you? So I'll actually give them that as a positive, that they're not rigid and dogmatic. They're willing to work. They just want to see. It looks like a big change at the top.
Yeah, I wonder if something like having. I posted this up in the Lars Discord. I wonder if something like having people stationed at the entrances of the stadium with like signs and in addition to not like going into the game. I don't know if that would make sense, but
I think if you have a parking pass,
yeah,
if it's people with a parking
or
pass,
just
maybe
coming
you
on
guys
the
load up.
bus.
Yeah, but maybe you guys load up Maybe you load up cars of people who have parking passes and they all go in and they're standing at the, and then you don't have to go into the game. They could be standing at the entrance and with a sign, client out sign, or explaining to people why supporters aren't there. And
Yeah.
then yeah, when it's time to bounce, either stand in the parking lot and drink all day if that's your thing, or get in the car and go home and do something productive or watch the game at home. I don't know. But
Or there's breweries around the on the stadium.
yeah, total fucking blackout of that shit, man. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
But that's I think that would be a good addition is to have people, I mean, again, the conservative. There's 1,000 supporters, ticket holders, whatever.
I would have
In
said
the
probably like 1,200, 12, 1,300. Yeah, somewhere in that range.
and so Sam, say you have even 100 people at each entrance, with signs and talking to people, explaining to them like why we're not going to be there, why if they should consider not coming to the games for a while and in support. I mean, I think that might be a good idea, but I don't know.
Yeah. It's private property. So, something to remember.
I mean, you're standing there, right? I mean, you're not causing any.
It's private property. You don't have to be causing anything. They want you gone, you gotta go.
But but say that, look at those metrics. All right, look at those optics. If they start kicking out people
Film everything.
yeah,
Film everything. Run that camera, baby.
you think that that's going to be a good look for the LA Galaxy, that they're kicking
I'm
out
not
there's
I'm not sure they're concerned about it anymore.
again, hey, but if you want people on your side, if you're
I
trying
don't think
to
Ed, I'll be honest with you. I don't think they give a fuck.
no, I'm talking the Galaxy fans. Like
Oh
if,
yeah, yeah.
if you want people to join in your cause, or you want people to uh be sympathetic to your cause, I think that would be a good idea is to start actually going to the games and protesting, not going inside, actually just stationed at these entrances. And then if they start kicking you out, that gives you a little bit more ammo to be like, hey, look, our team is kicking out these people who are just showing in a
Peaceful
nonviolent way,
protest. Yeah.
in a nonviolent
On
way
MLK Day.
on MLK. So that's what we're showing. That's what we're saying. Nonviolence, ways of protesting.
There's an episode title on MLK Day. Has
Right?
nothing to do with client
At all.
suspension or the
At all.
protest.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that might be something that people might want to consider doing.
Yeah.
You know,
You got the
but
lightning rounds.
again, I want to reiterate that it is your money. You're going to do what you're going to do, but in solidarity with your fellow fans and your fellow supporters, and again to benefit. This is to benefit you, as in your value for your ticket, the value of your on-field product. Where in the last, let's say conservative, it's not even, let's say up to 2015, so 16 and beyond. So you're talking 7 seasons, 8 seasons of mediocre, absolutely just 2 years of okay, and then and absolutely eight years of just bad.
Yeah.
Where most of that you didn't even make playoffs.
You say 2017 on. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I would say that
If you
to
if you like this show or anything we have ever done, if you are any of those people that are like, oh, I like Zero Cool. That guy is great. He's funny on Twitter. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Don't go.
yeah
Believe I'm protesting in what is it in
yeah
absentia. I'm protesting in absence. I can't
you know,
remember what the phrase
and
is.
this is especially, it's going to hit me a little bit, especially if this goes longer than we anticipate. But you know, I would want my daughter to be there. Her first year on this earth, and to be at the games and experience like from day like hey, to tell her, hey, you've been here since before you were even 1 years old. Like this is
In
your home away from
absentia.
home. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it makes
I
me
took
sad.
Damien in 5 weeks. I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah, and it makes me sad that I won't be able to take her to Well, I wanted to take her to the Rose Bowl game, but everyone was like, it's too soon, too soon. I'm like, whatever. But
No,
definitely now.
hold on. Forget what everyone said. What did Denise say?
I don't know. Well, I told her. Well,
Cap. Cap.
I mentioned about the protest, or not the protest. Yeah, and she's like, so we're definitely not going to the home opener, right? I'm like, the one in the Rose Bowl. She's like, yeah. I was like, I don't know.
That's how she got that.
That's why she got the
That's how
ring.
she got that, baby.
Yeah, but so I'm a little sad that it's not gonna happen, or it's not gonna happen as soon as I would want it.
You know what's gonna be really good? When she's older and she like fucks with Lars, you'll be like, I was gonna take you to your first game, but we were protesting. So you stayed home with your group. You stayed home with your real family.
You were a revolutionary before you were even 1 years old, girl.
That's it. Yeah, get her on a two pole. Baby protesting asleep. Ah.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the liner and questions. This is from I think Saturday when we were gonna originally record. So
Yeah.
I screenshot all these so we can get these done. Pew, 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 lightning
Pew,
round.
pew, 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 pew.
This one from Adam underscore C underscore P. Damn, hope I'm not too late. Is the protest to boycott 1 or 2 games or until he's gone? We're assuming until he being
Until there is
Klein,
change at the top.
until there's
That
change.
is that is my understanding. It's the reason there's an issue with the specificity.
Yeah.
My understanding is it's as long as there is a change until there is a change at the top rather. Um and as long as that goes.
Yeah. It's TBD. How long this is gonna go? This one from Salgado.dci. At this point, would a simple quote, look, we screwed up, but this is how we move forward, quote, enough?
Based on my understanding of it, because again, we don't speak for any of the supporters groups. Based on my understanding of it, no. I think they have lost. Why would you even accept that?
Yeah,
They
why is that
didn't
good enough?
feel the need to tell you whether this guy was staying or not until mid-January when they were pressured into it. When they definitely they almost certainly knew last year that they were at least likely keeping him. Why would that be good enough even for you? It's certainly not. It doesn't meet the demands of the supporters groups. So I would assume the answer is no.
Mm. This one
Well,
from
you sounded like a black woman in a movie
mm,
in the 90s.
mm-hmm,
You just chimed in with mm-hmm.
mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's definitely not good enough. It's if you're looking for effective change at the top, and that's your older underlining goal is just to have uh a change at the top of leadership, then hey, this is how we're gonna move. No, that's not it's not good enough. This one from I'm assuming it's Wenka, Wenka, Wenka 100.
Wenka.
Uh, and this is what we mentioned before, but if the team makes an objectively good DP signing, how long does the boycott last?
Uh, I'll be honest. This is one thing I am concerned about. I will say, having we were discussing in the large Discord earlier today. Um, I will, in this moment, I will only speak for the Riot Squad as best I understand it. I do not think that would change anything for the leadership of the Riot Squad.
No,
I can't speak on. I don't know anybody who's in leadership for any of the other supporters groups. I don't. Is Big Mike involved in leadership of Outlaws?
you probably if anything it'd be Ghost Ultras.
Okay. Or that's what I meant of Ghost Ultra. Sorry. I don't know if Big Mike
I don't
is
know.
because I don't want to say that I don't know anybody in leadership, but I will say on from my understanding of Lars's position, no, not. I don't believe that would change anything at all. If anything, it might enrage him further, but
More, yeah,
it might piss him off more. But I know I don't think that that'll be the
because
case.
they've definitely used that tactic in the past,
Yeah, they like
and I don't know if
to
that
try to
story's out
pressure
there.
you. I think he talked about it.
Okay,
Somebody remind us if Andrew talked about
trying
the
to be
moving
persuaded.
Lars to V block.
Yeah,
Yeah. And if so, then yeah, we'll reiterate that. But if not, we don't you don't know what you officially know sometimes.
yeah. This one's from Bangarang 77. Would it
Phenomenal name.
would it benefit the Galaxy to play non MLS teams during preseason? It's definitely not on topic of what we were.
I appreciate it. I
But
like
yeah,
just thinking about
a
the
little
galaxy again.
what palate cleanser.
Uh given what our history has been over the last given what our history has been from the last few seasons, I would say no. I'd like to think of this year. It's a shame what's going on, to be honest with you. But I would like to think of this year something akin to the 2011 offseason or the season, the preseason, the offseason slash preseason going into the 2011 season is what I mean. When Bruce Arena was like, we're not touring internationally for preseason. If somebody wants to play, they come here. Everyone needs to show up 2 weeks early. And we're doing everything here. We're doing it all local because the only thing we're focused on is winning an MLS Cup. We're Bruce was very good in doing his best to remove distractions. It's why he was so successful. Um, so I would say no to that just because the thing we need to get down is playing this league, this style, this speed, this level of physicality. And you may not necessarily get that with another team kind of keeping their foot off the gas. But it's also preseason. The whole goal of preseason is fitness, tactical understanding, and not getting hurt and just making sure everybody's as healthy as possible.
Yeah, it's not so much the competition level that you're trying to play at. Like these guys play, they'll play UCLA teams and like college teams. They'll
Best
play.
Galaxies team I ever saw, 2011, stayed home. We
So
need to stay home.
it's not like they haven't played teams in the past of
Ooh, that was Bruce's third year too. This is Vanny's third year.
hey.
And we got a lot of work to do because
Yeah.
it ain't the same team.
Oh man. Um, let's see what else do we have here. James Powell, good friend James Powell, Tottenham supporter, best team in London, right? Um, screw that Arsenal. Should we not also
he
include the
seemed.
owners?
Tell me about this. He seems way angrier at Chelsea. Like I know he doesn't like Arsenal the most. He just seems the angriest at Chelsea.
Well, they're the racist ones, aren't they?
Yeah, no, that will get you.
So,
What you
uh,
know? What's great about James? He's anti-racist. He's not just
anti-Semitic.
not racist. He's anti-racist.
He's one of those good whites.
Them good whites. That's how we say it down here.
That's how we say it in Linwood.
Uh,
Uh, should we not also include the owners who keep giving these people jobs in this
100%.
situation? Yeah.
100%. But
And
there's
what is
not.
your thought? What is your thought on AG? Would you want them to sell the team um, to an owner that maybe kind of cares more, has less distractions, or
If we were sold to a different owner, it's part of the issue. Even like say a Merritt Paulson, as terrible as he is, or maybe we'll pick a half decent owner.
yeah, let's
But
not think
any
an
middle of the
even worse
road,
human being than Chris Klein.
well, like any middle of the road owner is not going to allow shit like a $6 million payoff for Giovanni Dos Santos just to have you turn around in 3 years or 4 years and need to pay another $5 million to buy Costa out. You're not just going to get to burn $11 million on players you don't want that you decided you wanted. Like that part will change. We are a very, very, very long term investment for AEG. We always have been, dating to Phil propping up the league, owning half the teams. It's a long term investment. I would love a different owner that had deep pockets, that understood the potential marketing arm of the Galaxy more so than just you know we're in your local community and you feel as if you are connected to us based on what fucking piece of rock your parents were born on or your grandparents were born on. I would love someone who would come in and have a bigger vision for what we could be, or to try to capitalize on what we were, the name and the work that we had put in. I don't see them selling it. It's almost like it's an easier fight to go after Klein and Karofsky and probably Beckerman, because the likelihood is that you're going to get AEG to sell. You can't get people to protest to get the president out. What level of protest would you need to get AEG to sell the team? It would be huge. Most of their money is going to be on. It's a different fight. It's a very different fight that I don't know that we're up for.
Until they find his Nazi gold stash. That's
Hey, it hasn't. It has people in Los Angeles keep buying tickets to this guy's team, and they're like, he donates to how many conservative organizations? A lot, and people know, and it doesn't bother them enough to stop going.
Oh,
So,
I was literally saying Nazi gold stash. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to accuse him of anything. He seems like he's got big lawyers, but
Oh
you
yeah, they're
you
listening to
understand. You understand.
they're listening to our podcast for
You go
sure.
download episode 68, I think it is,
Do
right?
you have the number? That
No, I have no idea if that's right. I'm
okay.
gonna look up what that is now.
This one from Robots versus Robots.
Phenomenal name. God, good names this week.
What is the plan for the Rose Bowl? How can we rep and show our displeasure?
Stay home.
Not showing up.
Yeah, best. I'll be
Yes,
honest with you, man. I'm not. It's
eat
not
the
even like
tickets.
a. Yeah, it's not even a pro Lars, pro V block, pro like pro the protest. It's not even that. Like the best thing you can do is stay home. You know, it's a lot of hassle. It's going to be a lot of hassle, and you know, you can thank your president for throwing a big party for his biggest rival as a decision that he made, as a call that he made, because that's what you're signing up for.
Yeah, don't go. Eat the tickets. I'm sorry. And I don't. Yeah. Yeah.
Epi- Uh,
What is it?
episode 68.
I was hoping
Woke
it was gonna be 69.
Episode 69 is, oh,
Nice.
lovely. Episode 69 is Ben's nipple ring.
Nice.
Episode 68, oh, I didn't even find Jamaican Hitler. It's on there somewhere. Episode 68 is Woke Conda 2 Non-Infringement Boogaloo.
Oh, that's. I think that's the episode we got flagged
Yeah. Oh, what makes, yeah, but you're probably right. Jamaican
because.
Hitler 63, by the way.
Okay, not that far off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the one.
Sandwich between Air Jorgen and Coney 2012.
What a time to
No
be
idea.
alive.
Yeah,
What a
no
time to be
idea.
alive. But yeah, I think
Yep.
that's what kind of just came out. The Black Panther just came out,
I just saw the
and
second one.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's fine.
I'm waiting for it to come on Disney Plus.
You got like a week. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine. You can watch it at home.
Um, but I'm like, I remember because Ben started playing the soundtrack, and then I
Oh
think that's how
yeah.
we got flagged.
What's
We
up?
were like,
Yeah.
we
That's,
were like, no one's gonna care about our little podcast, and
turns out Disney
apparently they do. They do care.
exceptionally litigious.
Yeah, they care a lot. This one from good friend of the show, Take the Wheel 64. Uh, he says, or he's asked, think Joe and Kobe are going to do behind the scenes content until April, or sorry, so Apple lets them call games.
I hope so. I don't even think it's going to be an Apple lets them call games thing. There's a lot of rumors about local broadcast teams, which sounds like they're employed by the clubs themselves, which I think Guessman would said Kobe and Joe are both still employees of the organization. Um, yeah, if they have a drop down menu where I can get Kobe and Joe every week in Raleigh through Apple TV, like that is the fucking dream.
Yeah, and I'd have to listen to whatever bullshit like local broadcasts that we were listening
Well, no,
to.
there's 14 teams. Yeah. Well, here I would get a lot of local broadcasts, but I guess they're having 14 teams of commentators. So yeah, it'll be nice if they have that drop down option. I don't. It doesn't sound like it'll be live at the launch, but as soon as they get it all squared, that'll be great.
Uh, our good friend Rodrigo Rodriguez, he also uh,
Great name.
he also comments about it's not just CK out, but AEG out. Um, this one from
Yeah.
our good, this one from our friend AEK 6000. It says question for Chris: keep Chris Klein for this is like an either or situation.
Okay.
Uh, keep Chris Klein for 5 more years, or proclaim your love for Liverpool.
Oh man. I don't know if you know this, Ed. I fucking hate Liverpool. Uh,
Chris, you'll never walk alone.
Yeah. Well, no, you won't walk alone until like you mess up in a Champions League final and then you get fired immediately and you receive death threats at your house by fucking insane people.
And then your football career is over.
Yeah. Well, no, because he did all right. He signed with Newcastle like 6 months ago.
Oh,
We
did
just we just cut him, but yeah,
okay.
whatever. Hey, don't worry about it.
Hey, he got a
Yeah,
6 month
no.
paycheck from you guys. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. We re-upped him. He got some health insurance. He got some of that sweet oil money. So he's doing just fine. Um, Chris Klein for 5 years or proclaim my love for Liverpool. Liverpool is I mean, I would pick the Liverpool option. I don't have to do it now because
I don't have to do it
the
on air.
world
We have to
doesn't, yeah,
record it.
I was gonna do it right now, but like the universe doesn't work that way. But if I had to choose, I would choose the non-Chris Klein option.
There you
There we
go.
go. It's the
Uh,
cleanest way to say that and still be able to keep my soul pure.
this one from I'll end with our friend Uncle Dishwasher, but this one is going to be from Boys Sushi. Do you expect a quick response from AEG over Klein's employment?
I imagine it will take at least as long as the first announcement about his employment. I don't think we're going to have any real, um, like, why would anyone budge? That's the thing. This is what they're going to do. This is what I think they're going to do. They know that there is roughly 5 weeks between today and the game. They're going to assume and they're going to bank on the fact that everyone's going to start forgetting and everyone's going to stop talking about it and that it'll go away. That's why they didn't announce Klein's renewal early on because they thought everyone would stop asking questions about it. So if I was a betting man, my assumption would be they're just going to play the long game because there's so much time between today and the actual day that it would matter, which is the Rose Bowl and the Apple premiere. I can't imagine what they want is LAFC having sold a significant portion of tickets to that stadium And from what I hear, ticket sales aren't going great anyway.
Mm.
But I can't imagine what they would want is LAFC dominant, visually an LAFC dominant match. But I would imagine their bet is going to be, hey, there is a protest. That's why we got outsold at the Rose Bowl. And then if it starts affecting the season and it
They can make
carries on,
excuses already.
yeah, if it starts affecting the season and it can carry on and it gets deeper into the season, I mean, when I say affecting, gets deeper into the season, then you might get a response. But clearly, they don't feel like they owe you anything. They don't feel like they owe you an explanation on absolutely anything based on their actions.
So okay, so I just thought about your private property thing. Couldn't they stand outside on like the sidewalk where like
Mm-hmm.
people like the main entrances?
Your taxes pay for that,
You can
motherfucker.
do that.
Yep,
See,
100%.
solutions. All right. Like I said, we'll end on. Yeah, one more from somebody
I like the questions this I was gonna say this week, but I suppose it's
this month.
this term, this trimester. I really enjoy the questions.
Okay, so we got two from Uncle Dishwasher, and I'll on with him. Um, do you think AEG has any sort of actual breaking point?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna say
Again,
yes
it
because
has
I'm
to be
hopeful that they're
financial,
right.
right?
Yeah, it would be financial, and that part of the issue is season ticket money is already spent and it's past the pullback day, the whatever it's called, cancellation date, which for me puts what they're doing in a higher esteem because they understand that the money is spent and they're still like, fuck you. And so it puts it in a greater esteem for me. But if we're halfway through the season and the supporter, this is the thing you also got to understand for the average fan. It doesn't matter if people fill in the ACB section, if people, because it's general admission, they just, start moving down or whatever, or start moving into behind the goal. It doesn't matter if people move into the Lars section. The leadership is boycotting. So this joint is going to be quiet no matter what. That's no drums. That's no flags. That's no tifo. That's no two poles. That's no smoke. That's none of that shit. It's going to affect every game regardless whether you attend or not, unless you're pulling the same weight as the supporters groups were pulling. That place is going to be quiet. It's, you and I mean, most of the people listening to this, I assume, have been there for Open Cup games back in 08 and 09 and 2007 and shit like that, when you would get 3,000 people in there and you could hear an echo. You could hear someone scream from the other side of the building. That's what it's going to be like. That's going to happen no matter what, because the leadership is boycotting. As long as the leadership is boycotting, it's going to be a library, um, to the level that you expect. Unless Apple comes in and says like, "Hey, this ain't what we fucking bought." What the shit's going on? Unless Garber is like, "What's going on? We can't have this shit." I don't know, but if it drags on through an actual home El Trafico, or the supporters groups don't go away for El Trafico, that's when you start getting pressure. But it depends on how long the line gets held. And again, my understanding is, I will only speak for Lars. My understanding is Lars ain't going nowhere. As best I understand it, the Lars position is not changing.
Yeah, that they're holding. They're gonna hold that line. We'll see.
I will only speak for that one, but
Yeah.
that line ain't changing.
So the last one from Uncle Dishwasher, we'll end on this one. What do you truly think the end game will be in all of this? What ultimately happens?
I honestly could see it going a couple different ways. Um, obviously, again, any negativity. I'm not going to speak negative about the family in public. It doesn't work that way. But on a positive end, I think the most realistic option is that Klein gets moved into AEG in some way. He's on the 2026 World Cup panel and the 2026 World Cup committee rather. I could see AEG moving him there and just having him kind of that be his primary detail. I don't know. It depends on. I wish you'd bail me out of this speech, Ed. It depends on the level of stubbornness that the leadership for the supporters groups have for their demands. And I'll be honest with you, man. I think the average Galaxy fan that has paid attention prior to Chris Klein being hired all the way to today understands that the demands of the supporters groups are reasonable. It's reasonable. And it's been compounded by the fact that they hid the fact that he was coming back. They already let you know that this is, I mean, there's no better phrase for it. This is business as usual, and it is a business, and they are in bed with who they are in bed with. It's going to come down to to how dedicated the supporters can be, and if they can truly stick together, if they're genuinely sticking together and genuinely holding the line together, they can do it. I honestly believe they can do it, but they got to all hold the line together, and they need the average Galaxy fan. They need Jeff in 119 and Jeff in 109, and they need Dan who's in 107, and they need to pick up fans across the stadium, the people who want to chant LA Galaxy, all those people, the people who clap along to the songs but don't really know the words but feel like they're down, that person that's like, man, I love what the ACB does, man, I love what Lars does, man, I love what Galaxy Outlaws does, man, that tifo's so dope, I wish I knew how to get involved with that shit. They need to pick those people up, and if they can pick those people, if those guys can understand the long-term plan, and that's what's hard, is getting people, even if they sign some big name designated player. How do you think people, where do you think the rage about Klein went in 2018? They signed Zlatan in March. That's why everybody forgot. That's why everybody moved on. But you see what happens when you move on. You see what happens when you take the shiny new signing and you just move on. You've already seen what happens with that. If they can hold the line together and be true to this together and pick up, it doesn't even have to be a huge amount, but if fans around the stadium get on board with what they're doing, how does AEG say no? How does Beckerman? What is the line then? Like, that's the thing. Every week it goes on, you hear what they're saying. It's a response from the Galaxy, even if they don't say anything. That's what I'm not sure they understand. This gets into a month, 2 months. Who doesn't understand that the club and the hierarchy of the club is saying, we don't give a fuck about any of you. We don't give a fuck what you want. We don't give a fuck how you see your team. We don't give a fuck how you see the club. This guy is bigger than every single one of you. The revenue that this guy brings in, re-upping a contract we already had, which is the easiest deal to do in sports, and your ticket sales. That's why we kept him, because he re-upped a contract that was existing before he got here. He was able to re-sign rather than take it to the market. He was able to re-sign someone we already had, and on the backs of your ticket sales and your jerseys. If he can pick you guys up, if he can pick the people who listen to this that aren't in any of the supporters groups but have always wondered how they can be down, if they can pick them up, yes, they can save the Galaxy, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to save the club for your children, because it's not your club. It's your kids' club. It's my son's club. It's your daughter's club. It's your children's club that they're trying to save. So if they can get you, person who's listening to this, if they can get you to understand the amount of power that you have in your wallet, because that's what the people that they're fighting against give a shit about. They don't care about your sign. They don't care about the song you sing. They don't care about any of that shit. If they can get you, yes, they can succeed.
Well said. On that note, I do want to put out this little tidbit. We are officially in the longest reign of time without an MLS Cup.
We've been in that for a while.
But I'm saying, like, because this is what I think the longest has been 7 seasons, 6 seasons, 7 seasons. This is officially
Longest
going to
would be
be
the starting to the first, so it'd be 6.
So I think this is like the 7th or 8th season now.
Yeah, I forget what it was. I had tallied up the days. I was tracking the days for a while, but that got depressing, so I stopped. But I can pull it up for you if you vamp for half a second. But
just saying, this is, if that's what you are okay with, and a continued failure of even being not even being close to an MLS Cup final. If that's what you continue to want, then yes, you're the ones who want this to fail. And without it even starting, without even supporting the the supporters groups from trying to change the trajectory of the club. If that's what you want, and you're okay with continued, at best, mediocrity, then okay, then you continue what you're doing.
The previous longest rain or previous longest drought was from the first game, April 13th, 1996 to October 20th, 2002. That was 2,381 days. We are currently at 2,962 days from December 7th, 2014 to today.
And even in that span, the Galaxy won the 2000 Championship Cup. So
even in that time, Ed, we were making the playoffs consistently.
yeah,
we've gone from, we were already over talking this. We should have ended at that last speech. That last speech was gold. And I don't know what you're doing.
I cut this all out. It's all good.
Yeah. Well, good night.
No, continue. Go.
I thought you were serious.
No.
Yeah, that's what they're fighting against.
Yeah, exactly.
They're fighting against that moving into 3,962 and then 4,962 because they watched this tick up. They paid attention along the way. Not saying you didn't, but they've paid attention along the way as this has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And if it doesn't stop, it just gets bigger and bigger. That's what happens. And all of those damn near 3,000 days have happened under Chris Klein's presidency. All of them. The longest drought in the history of the club has happened under the presidency of one man. And only two men are still involved in the front office from that time. Chris Klein and his good buddy Jovan Kirovski.
There you go. All right, on that note, we will talk to you guys. Hopefully we're going to make this more of a weekly thing. I think
I'll be honest, I kind of like this like destination, like something happened and then we, when the season picks back up, I'm into the weekly. But as it currently is, I enjoy the like giving people a reason to want to pay attention.
Bi-monthly or every other month.
Whenever something happens. Yeah, I know your life is complicated now, so it's okay.
But yeah, you guys can follow us on Twitters and Instagrams, the Squadcast96. You can follow us on YouTube if you want to watch the video version of this. It's youtube.com/the Squadcast pod. Go like, subscribe, all that stuff, all that good news.
Great time to sign up for a supporters group membership. Yes. Great time to sign up for a supporters group membership.
I don't know. I don't know if they're active quite yet. They might be. I'm not quite sure, but go check out all their websites and everything. Their other socials as well. But on that note, Chris, thank you for talking to me today.
Hey, it's a pleasure, sir. I missed you. Klein out. Oh, all day. Klein out. Audit Kirovski. Come on.
Hashtag Klein out, baby.
Hashtag that shit up.
All right. Love you guys. Be safe. Bye.
Peace.